support.
The maestro, please!
We got a big increase of music to talk about this week, but that's mostly because of the record store day numbers have come in. This'll be for the week of
April 26th. 2025.
On this day in music back in 1926, Turandot, arguably the most well-known opera by Giacomo Puccini, premiered at La Scala in Milan. It contains the famous Nessun Dorma aria, most famously performed by Luciano Pavarotti. Kicking off with our first Record Store Day release, Sam Smith's performance at the 2024 BBC Proms at the Royal Albert Hall. Now, you could have gotten this previously in the form of a DVD and actually watched the performance, but now you can have the entire concert in vinyl form as well. Well, if you ever wanted the Harry Potter soundtracks on vinyl, do I have some good news for you? Because you can now get the first 3 movies soundtrack on vinyl done by the legendary John Williams. Worth noting, Goblet of Fire was also released on vinyl for Record Store Day, but it didn't chart into the top 5, I guess because it was done by Patrick Doyle as opposed to John Williams.
You bewitched me from the first time that you kissed.
Record Store Day release number 5, Laufey's A Night at the Symphony at the Hollywood Bowl with the Los Angeles Philharmonic this time. Now, while this is a Record Store Day release, a digital version of this is available as well.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Our first Easter album for Record Store Day, selections from the 75th anniversary edition of the soundtrack are available on vinyl. Collectible, I might add, comes in 5 different versions.
You bewitched me from the first time that you kissed.
It's Laufey with an orchestra, so you know this was going to chart on both jazz and classical. Good to note, this is technically a soundtrack because this was actually a filmed concert. So if you haven't watched it yet and you're a Laufey fan, well, what are you doing?
Singing, I love rock and roll, and everything is peaceful love and
Album number 5 from Bon Iver, following up 2019's I, 6 years later. Now, if the name of it wasn't a giveaway, the Sable EP that was released in 2024 is included on this release, so it's actually a 2-disc album.
It's bigger than hip-hop. I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal.
Well, if you liked A Great Chaos, you're gonna love album number 4 from Ken Carson, Even More Chaos, a rage and trap album, obviously kind of expanding on the sound that he established in, well, A Great Chaos. Sometimes Record Store Day does give us an electronic release to talk about, but I guess not this year.
And now I need some help from the maestro, please!
Is it Stacy? Is it Becky? Is it Keisha? Is it Abby?
Back down to number 5, although we'll talk about this in a bit more detail next week for reasons.
please, 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 don't prove I'm right.
Back to the standard edition of Short and Sweet. We talked about the deluxe edition a few weeks ago. She is indeed still touring, and I think she's touring for like the rest of the year, too.
Life's better on Saturn. Got to break this pattern. Floating away.
Speaking of touring, obviously Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Grand National Tour kicked off last week, and there are already a bunch of videos about it on YouTube.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't get it. Nobody's no sympathy. I'll take away the pain.
So obviously the tour is in support of SZA's LANA and obviously Kendrick Lamar's GNX. However, he is performing songs that aren't on the album. I believe he did Backseat Freestyle. Haven't seen that performed in a while. And of course he is obviously doing Not Like Us.
I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal. I'm a black rascal.
People indeed wanted more chaos, making this his first #1 album. Now, good thing to note, the digital and streaming releases have 3 additional tracks, 2000, Evolution, and Ghoul, and specifically the streaming version has a bonus track off the meter, which features Playboi Carti and Destroy Lonely. So as always with the Record Store Day releases, we're 2 weeks behind because that's how long it takes to actually count all the numbers and do the charts. So some of those might be hard to find, given not all of the stuff we talked about was Record Store Day. Bon Iver and Ken Carson, those were just normal releases, and some of those Record Store Day releases do have digital versions as well.
And now I need some help on the maestro, please. Maestro.